Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Let's try that one more time. How are y'all really doing? Y'all good? Good. So I am Ciara Shanae of IamCiaraShanae.com, and I just want to congratulate again Monica Reed. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Isn't that amazing? I just love seeing. Yes, let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. I just love seeing entrepreneurs win and succeed and grow and launch and do grand openings and new beginnings and things of that sort. Y'all don't get excited about things like that? I get excited. So I was like, a grand opening? Oh yes, I'm there. I love those things. I love celebrating these things, and it's so beautiful. Everything is phenomenal. It's impactful, and it's totally done in excellence. Can y'all agree? Yes. So I'm excited to see what else she can offer you guys who are entrepreneurs. So if you are an entrepreneur, I want you to raise one hand. Let me see our entrepreneurs. Be proud, okay? You an entrepreneur, you an entrepreneur. Now, if you are an entrepreneur and you also speak, I want you to wave both hands like this. Let me see you, let me see you, let me see you. Okay, all right? And if you're an entrepreneur and you like math, and you've always liked math, I want you to start counting to 5 on your fingers for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, thank you. I'm glad that those who love math and always love math, that you're counting on your fingers, and you made me feel a lot better because I never really liked math. And I still don't really like math. Okay? So I want to tell y'all that I actually struggled from math anxiety. Anybody heard of that before? Math anxiety, where you're actually terrified of math, numbers, they just freak you out, right? So ever since I was little, I was always good at language arts, English, public speaking. So those were my things, but math, absolutely not. And then as it got harder, we could do 1 + 1 equals 2. Oh, y'all can count. 2 times 2 is 4. But then we talking about pre-calculus, geometry, statistics. And then I had the audacity, right, to be a psych major. And guess what was required? Statistics. Why? Can somebody explain to me why? I'll do more research. I'll do more papers. Just let us not do statistics. I gotta see y'all. I gotta see for Ciara. Hey. And I was like, they're like, you want to take it over again? Absolutely not. That's the best I'm gonna get, because I don't like math. And so, we can do simple things in math, like 1 + 1 is 2, because y'all can count. Thank y'all. And 2 times 2 is 4. But it got a little bit more complicated for me with math when you had to do something like your bills minus your bank account. Y'all ever had to do that type of math? And that's when you remember, like, oh, integers. That's a negative. Oh, overdraft. $35. I got it. Another $35. Dang, those things just start adding up, and you just making it work and doing what you gotta do because you gotta live, right? And so I know a thing or two about lack. I know a thing or two about struggling in poverty and just not having enough. Have you ever dreamed about just wanting something amazing, maybe traveling? Anybody? Nobody want to travel? Well, after COVID, because y'all like, yeah, I want to travel, but yeah, I've always dreamt of traveling. I always wanted nice things, but it just seemed like I just could never really have it. Have y'all? Nobody? Just me? I always felt like I couldn't have it. It seemed like it wasn't something that I could actually obtain. Like, I remember growing up, and it seemed like everything that I did have was handed down to me. Like, oh, those are nice shoes. Oh, they actually are your size. You want them? That's how I was used to getting things. Like, it belonged to somebody first. Like, before thrifting became a thing, everything was used. And it was in good condition. You kept it up, but everything was used. And then it was given to me. I never really had something fresh out the packet. Not to say my parents, didn't do what they could. Because, you do what you can. I had nice clothes. I always had a jacket in the winter, thank God. Those things. But there's just certain things you just aspire for. Just certain things you desire. And it just seemed like if I wanted more, it was used already. It was given to me. from someone else. And so I feel that was like me experiencing poverty. Like, I didn't, experience like, not knowing what to eat. I ate every night. I had a warm bed. I had shelter over my head. But to me, just not being able to tap into abundance that I know is attainable for me, because God began to tell me, like, abundance is attainable for you, Ciara. And I was like, how? How, Sway? Y'all, how is it available for me when all I can have is what's handed to me? Just enough, just to make it by. And so later, because, we talked about the math, where you're like minusing your bank account with your bills. And so later in life, I grew up, and it didn't get better yet, and now it didn't get better just then. And so what happened was I actually had to experience some eviction. Like, I actually faced eviction like 3 times and survived it. Anybody ever been there where you couldn't pay your rent? And they like, well, you can't have your apartment either. I can't have my rent. You can't have your apartment. That's math, right? No rent equals no apartment equals eviction, And so that's what ended up happening for me. I had that fear so many times. Am I going to not have a place to live? Now, I'm a young adult, y'all. I ain't been doing this adulting thing for too long. But when you finally start doing it, you don't want something to be taken from you. It's like, Dad, so I can only have stuff if it's given to me. And then when I have stuff that I actually worked for and I got it myself, now it's taken? Dad, what kind of life is this? And I'm getting older, and it just seems like the problems is just growing and evolving into something larger. So I'm like, is this just life? Is this just how it has to be? Like, am I just going to be living like this with just a different situation, different age? Is that all it's going to be? And so I actually was a part of an anthology by Shanae Adu, and it was called the anthology is called God Doesn't Want You to Be Broke. So when I saw that anthology, I was like, yeah, I'm in it. I'm signing up right now. And I did it, and I was like, you got to start making some investments. When you want to break out of poverty, sometimes you got to invest. So, for some people, and as you begin to develop and you begin to mend your money mindset, money looks different. But for me at that time, $99 was a lot. Because $99 can do a lot. But I was like, I'm signing up right now. So I signed up for the anthology, and my chapter is chapter 19, and it was called Poverty is Not Your Purpose. And so that's something that God had to begin to speak to me about while I was facing eviction. First time, second time, third time, right? But he had to show me, but guess what happened each time? I showed up. I had people actually, and I'm going to testify. I'm going to just do it. Thank you for the praise and worship leader. I'm going to just do it. Like, I saw that God stepped in so many different times because I had strangers give me a $500 check and never ask for it back. This is before I had clients that was investing at that level. This is before I had known I can actually be a full-time entrepreneur and make this type of income. I was like, and you don't want it back, but you don't know me. You sure? What? But that's how God will do. He was telling me, hey, poverty is not your purpose. You are going to break out of this. It may seem scary, but you also have to share this because someone else is going to be there and go through this. So I had an event, my annual event, the Camp Getaway, y'all. And I never forget inviting one of my speakers to speak. And at the end, I was talking, like literally before that event, the day before, I did not know what was going to happen with my apartment. Like that, the lady gave the check and a job hit in, and I would, like all literally the day before, I'm like, you got to wait till the day before. I got to be freaking out the whole time. I'm finding venues but don't know where I'm about to live. This can't be life. This ain't it. And that's what it can be like sometimes when not only when you're an entrepreneur, but you're an entrepreneur who believes God. He's going to be like, okay, are you going to try to do it? Or are you going to let me do it? Because if I do it, I'll give people that give you $500 checks and they asking for it back. Or you can go to the bank and ask for a loan and they going to want it back with interest. What you want? What you want, right? And so the speaker came up to me afterwards and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm facing eviction right now. A speaker. So she came to my event looking all cute. Yo, you wouldn't even know. You would have no idea. And it just reminded me that I have to share my message. I have to be unmuzzled. And so that's why I wrote my book, Don't Muzzle Your Message, 5 Ways to Boost Your Bonus to Speak. Thank you. Clap it up. Hey, I'm proud. And so I wrote that book, y'all, and then many people, they're like, I'm not a speaker. I don't have anything to say. And typically, those are indications that you've been muzzled, right? And so every entrepreneur in this room, because I saw y'all was waving y'all hands, and y'all was raising it up, and y'all was counting on y'all fingers, right? So all of y'all need to really consider, what is your message? Because there's a story behind your business. There's a reason why you started it, and there's a purpose that's deeper than the product or service that you sell, right? This is connected to Monica's purpose. How can she push through when she don't feel like it? It's not just because she wants the flexibility, the time freedom, the money, but this is her purpose. She feels that she is called to help women in particular, entrepreneurs, rise, y'all. Because sometimes we get low. And sometimes we feel like we can't get up. And sometimes we feel like we can't do it. But I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can. You absolutely can. Poverty is not your purpose, y'all. It is not the way that you're supposed to live. It does not have to end this way. It doesn't always have to be this way. Right? And wherever there is purpose, please know that there is also provision. This is an opportunity of provision. All of this work is so she can provide what you need, the resources, the tools, right? And then there's coaches like myself. We're here. I am walking provision. I know that. I know that I walk into women's lives and I'm just what you needed. I know that I'm just who you need to get connected with. I know that I'm just who you need to get in contact with. I absolutely know it because I know my purpose, right? So as I was struggling financially, y'all, I began to figure out my purpose through the help of God. He began to reveal it to me because I had years of frustration. Anybody ever known what it was like and didn't know your purpose? And you like, this thing is just an equation I cannot figure out. No tutor can help me with this, right? But then there's the Holy Spirit. And he changes the game. And he lets you know, oh, I know you better than you know yourself, boo-boo. Let me tell you about you, because I created you. And I know what I placed inside of you. And I know what you're destined for. So let me shock you real quick. Let me show you pieces of yourself you never explored. And that's what he did for me. So as I went on my purpose discovery journey, it was painful, it was purposeful, it was exciting, y'all. And I started to realize that my prosperity was locked up in my mouth. I realized, because she said, say it again, that my prosperity was locked up in my mouth. So that's why it's important that you don't muzzle your message. That's why it's important that you become confident in your content. That's why it's important that you get on these stages and tell people what you represent and what you have to offer and how you overcame. It's very important. Very, very, very important. And so I want to talk to you guys really quickly about one of my clients that I absolutely love and I'm extremely proud of. And so her name is Siobhan. And so she came to me years ago. She came to me about, 2016, 2017. And she was like, I have a story. I know I have this organization. I know I want to do this support group for women. I know I want to help them heal because that's why they're not as confident as they should be operating and really walking in who they are. So I really want to do it. I said, you do? She said, yeah. I said, okay, let's do it. And then she began to really become a little timid. And she was like a little reserved. I'm like, I thought you said you wanted to do this. I thought you wanted to help these women. And then I realized she was muzzled. She knew what her message was, but she wasn't sharing it. How many of you guys ever been there? You know what your message is, think you know what your message is, but you're not sharing it. You know you should, but you don't. Opportunities show up, but you don't. The girl at your job said, hey, I'm going through, and you give her advice, but you don't share that you've been there too, because you're muzzled. So I was like, okay. So I understood she was muzzled, so we had to work on that. We had to get through all of that and get for her to begin to unlock her voice. And then we worked together for a matter of 3 months, y'all. And in 3 months, we were able to launch her speaker brand and her organization. And when she did it, she was like, Ciara, I did it. It's happening right now. And I'm like, and it is. And it didn't have to take years. It just took for you to unlock your voice. And then now there's so many women that's following her blog and that's connecting with her and everything of that sort. And she's like, oh my gosh, I've never felt this before. I never felt this fulfillment before. I'm like, that's purpose. That's what it feels like to pursue purpose and pursue profitable purpose, y'all. And so I wanted to let you guys know that was 3 months. And everybody, maybe you feel like you spent a lot of time. And I don't have that much time left. So I created something called the message monetization session. So it's 90 minutes, and we can absolutely, because we know that poverty is not our purpose, we can take your message that you know and actually map out what are all the different ways that you can actually monetize that message. And of course, you're going to have to share it, right, in so many different forms so that you can actually profit from your purpose. And so I want you guys to meet me at my table when you get the chance, because I know we have so many awesome speakers and so much more. Check out all the vendors, but meet me at my table, please, and let's set up a time so that we can actually talk this week. And if you're interested in the message monetization session, me and my girl Lisa will be here to help you. And so remember, guys, poverty is not your purpose.